Welcome to Silicon Scoop, where we dive into the latest tech news impacting the world. Join John Irwin and the Startup Coach as they explore the tech news that matters to you. Stay ahead, stay informed, and now on with the show.
We've been looking at dementia entirely backward by treating it as a disease that only starts in old age, but groundbreaking new data shows that damage actually begins before you turn 10. If you or your parents were born between 1960 and 1985, a toxic environmental legacy might be quietly reprogramming your brain health right now. So childhood lead triples your Alzheimer's risk, and a landmark 2026 NHANES study revealed that cumulative lead exposure stored in the human bone, not the blood, nearly triples the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease later in life. Researchers now realize that lead absorbed during childhood waits decades to leak back into the body as the skeleton ages. So this completely rewrites the timeline of the neurodegenerative diseases, turning dementia from a late life medical issue into a lifelong environmental health crisis. What do you think about this, John?
This blew me away. So let's just kind of dive into like the life course model of dementia and then what this is. So historically, dementia research, it focused on events occurring in middle age and later life. And so what they focused on were high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, smoking, cholesterol, and physical inactivity. So obviously these are still critically important, but there's a growing body of research that now supports, and what you were saying, a life course model of dementia risk, where exposures accumulate over decades and influence brain health. So what one of the most important concepts that was discussed in modern dementia research is cognitive reserve. So cognitive reserve refers to the brain's ability to compensate for damage. So two individuals may have similar levels of Alzheimer's pathology, such as amyloid plaques and tau tangles, but one may exhibit symptoms years later because their brain developed more robust neural networks earlier in life. So what was one of the strongest contributors to cognitive reserve was education, crazy enough. So the 2024 Lancet Commission on Dementia, they had identified that lower educational attainment as one of the most significant early life dementia risk factors. That's nuts. And so researchers are estimating that addressing education-related risk factors alone could significantly reduce dementia globally. This is crazy. I got to stop there and get your thoughts on this, because what? Education is a direct correlation to dementia? What's going on here? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that is interesting in a huge way. And I have so many questions, because this is a lifelong thing. If, for example, if you go back to school at the age of 40, does that really reduce this, or only education at a young age while your brain is still growing, until it's like 25 or whatever, until it's fully grown, or your body, muscle or structure, whatever that is. I'm really curious about what that means about educational level. Like if you continue to take courses through the rest of your life or continue to do whatever, does that continue to do it, or does it stop at a certain stage?
Exactly. Yeah. And where's the cutoff point? Can you reverse it by
continuous learning?
Continuous learning, or can you reduce it by actually starting to learn at a certain point in life? Like there's so many questions, but this is a great first start as far as a whole new concept when it comes to dementia.
Yeah, think of this update like a house built with a bad corroded copper pipes hidden deep inside the walls. For the first 30 or 40 years, the water flows fine. Everything looks perfect on the surface. But as the house gets older, the structure naturally begins to degrade and those pipes start leaking heavy toxins directly into the main water supply. You aren't getting poisoned by something you did today. You're dealing with toxic infrastructure that was built into the foundation decades ago. So as it starts to use your bone marrow or your body starts to degrade, that toxins that are inside your bones start to get released. What concerns me most about all of this, and you went through a bunch of technical stuff, so I won't get into it, is that the peak of this was 1960 to 1985.
Okay.
The peak of the lead exposure.
Oh.
The time. So the if you or your parents were born between 1960 and 1985, a toxic environmental legacy might quietly be reprogramming your brain out right now. So they're saying that that's the most impacted age group. So I sit back and say, well, I'm in there, and I am between 50 and 60 years old. So the question becomes, this looks like we are going to see a massive spike in dementia over the next few years because we're just getting to the age of this group getting to that dementia time. That's what I mean by like that. What concerns me is like, okay, we got a dementia problem right now, but we're coming into this period where it was the most toxic period, and we're going to see a huge spike according to this. Not sure what we can do about it, but I'm just want to watch it. So I guess this shifts how you manage your health. Shielding your brain now means aggressively managing your blood pressure, kidney health, and cardiovascular fitness to counter physical damage from historical exposure. You got to be taking, I guess, all the calcium and proper to make sure your bones don't degrade. It's a whole new set of treatments, I guess, to make sure you can stave off dementia for as long as you possibly can. The reason the patella of the kneecap is used for this cutting-edge research rather than blood samples is that lead has a biological half-life of about 30 days in the human blood, but it locks into the bone matrix for up to 30 years. So the massive spike in lead exposure for target generation was driven heavily by the petroleum industry's historical mid-century lobbying to keep tetraethanol, lead in gasoline as the anti-knock agent, despite knowing its neurotoxic profiles since the 1920s. But not only that, but do we remember when we used to get those really cool glass collectibles that were painted and they looked great for, movies? That was all lead. Mm-hmm. All that stuff, so we went through a generation where they were using this for all sorts of things that we didn't think about. Plus, these aggressive lobbying to keep it active. So the ultimate limitation here is a diagnostic infrastructure. Standard healthcare clinics lack the specialized X-ray, fluorescent, XRF instruments required to measure bone lead safety, leaving patients unable to easily check their actual personal numbers. But don't panic. Proactively, you can optimize your cardiovascular health and bone density through weight-bearing exercise and diet, because protecting your blood vessels and slowing down bone breakdown is the single best way to historically lock away, keep that lead locked away. So I guess now working out, doing weightlifting helps dementia. So keep that kind of stuff up, right? Yeah. So your childhood environment is still actively fighting for control of your cognitive future, making the environmental cleanup the ultimate form of modern medicine. For those in the chat who grew up in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, does knowing your childhood neighborhood could dictate your late life health change? How you look at environmental policy today? Let us know in the thoughts in the chat below.
Tired of drowning in repetitive tasks while your competitors race ahead? Every minute you spend on manual data entry, scheduling, and routine processes is a minute you're not growing your business. Flowgrammer.ca transforms your workflow chaos into seamless automation. We build AI-powered systems that handle your busy work so you can focus on what actually makes you money. Our clients typically save 15 plus hours per week and see their productivity double within 60 days. Visit flowgrammer.ca for a free automation audit. That's flowgrammer.ca. Stop working in your business and start working on it.
What do you got going on, John?
Just plugging away, helping companies with government funding, attending events, probably startup drinks or Flowgrammer events. How about you, Craig?
Lots of stuff going on. I honestly don't know when this is going out. I have to check. I think it's going to go out in April. But there's all sorts of stuff going on. If you don't know about OpenClaw, it's the latest AI automation agent that's taken the world by storm in 2026. And OpenClaw Toronto chapter just launched, and we have all sorts of events going on. So check out openclawto.com. Our first demo night is April 14th. We have a Builder Cafe on April 10th. We have a bunch of other events. There's updates every day. We've deconstructed the latest 2 betas over the weekend that was launched in OpenClaw and what you should do about them. There's a bunch of articles over there. Go check that out. We're also over at flowgrammer.ca, where we do N8N automations. We run the Flowgrammer community and do Builders Hub and connectivity for AI and business automation agents. And for everything else, head over to TorontoStarts, where we hook up startups and investors at our Startup Investor Drinks. We do mentoring, we do workshops, we have a list of investors. There's a whole bunch of content over. You can also book me over there if you want a meeting with me to talk about whatever, help your startup. Check out TorontoStarts.com. But John, if people are looking for non-dilutive funding, where should they go and what is that?
Yeah, non-dilutive funding. We're talking government grants, tax credits. Come find me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. Right now is shred time, SRNED. But come reach out to me too if you've got a startup, if you've got a company. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and if they have company questions about their startup in general, where do they find you, Craig?
Yeah, find me at TorontoStarts.com. But John, just before we go, something's open right now, and it's closing May 31st. Thank you. Can Export. And what?
Yeah. So
what
if
should
you have
people
at
know
least
about that?
300,000 in revenue in the previous year, and you're looking to expand outside of Canada, reach out to me, and we can put together. We can talk about an application for Can Export.
All the links we talked about will be in the show notes wherever you're watching this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Silicon Scoop. We hope you enjoyed this episode's dive into the latest tech news. Stay connected with John Irwin and the Startup Coach on LinkedIn and subscribe for more insights and updates. Until next time, stay ahead, stay informed.